So I first of all thought about breath in terms of how it's something that we take for granted. It's something that we think is automatic and that we should just be able to do, when actually I think bringing more attention, more awareness, more technique to it almost opens up a completely different plane of reality. And that is, can be in our energy, it can be in how we experience stress, how we experience, therefore, the opposite, relaxation. The science behind the power of breath is just incredible. I don't know if you've looked at it, Rachel.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but like the effect that breathing has on our blood pressure, our immunity, our something called heart rate variability, which is the ability of our heart to essentially adapt to the speed that it beats when you breathe in, the speed that it beats when you breathe out. And even the quality of our sleep. So breathing through our nose, for instance, has been shown to decrease sleep apnea, which is when your breath can stop or pause whilst you're sleeping. And I think a really powerful thing is to bring attention to it. We should be thinking about it. It shouldn't just be automatic.
Great, great. And I have to say, it's a very profound subject, I feel, that we've brought this week, but one that's so interesting. And as you said, it's something that we take very for granted. You know, it's something taken for granted. We don't think about it because our body is breathing all the time. We are breathing without thinking about it. But what I have discovered through my profession and sharing with you through being informed through working with the breath is that varied breathing, just as much as a varied diet is important for the body, varied breathing is really important. And those of us that practice sports or create any variety of breath, whether that be, I was talking to Caroline, so I know that when I have my burst of cold morning shower, my breath changes. So what I feel we want to consider is finding ways to vary our breathing, even if that's deliberate breath work, because you change then actually all the systems of your body with your breath. And what I know in terms of transformation of breath, often our breath gets static with a static way of being. So for example, I'll give you an example. If we find we get stuck in a mood or in a thought pattern or stuck with feeling stressed or anxious, our breath gets static with that pattern that we're in. So the breath is the doorway to also break free from mindset or patterns, or I think what's called status. Is it called status, Caroline? Where we get stuck.
Basically.
Yeah, and so our breath, the power and I would say, like, our invitation to pay attention to our breath is a really powerful one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I completely echo, just leading on from your point, this idea of varying the breath. So for me, the power of the breath comes from two places. So there's essentially powerful breath work, which you, as you say, you experience when you get in the shower, when you exercise, but also with some of the breathing techniques, say that as a yoga teacher, I teach. And I see that as it's almost like exercise is for your body. So you put yourself under essentially a certain amount of discomfort in order to find a greater sense of ease for the rest of the day. So something, for instance, such as breath of fire, it's a powerful breath that takes effort and people might find it a little bit uncomfortable. But that means through taking those breathing techniques, the rest of the 24 hours, you can breathe slower, deeper. The same way as you go for a run and then the rest of the 24 hours, your body's then working more optimally. You're still getting fitter and stronger and recovering whilst you do that. So I like to see, however you turn up and switch up your breath, then that's actually having a knock-on effect for the other 23 hours of the day.
Yeah. And I've witnessed.
You still hear me?
Yeah, I've witnessed through some friends and some colleagues that I think even just
Rachel's frozen.
I can see you. Can you hear me? Yeah. That it seems to be more and more popular now, even having transformational breath workers who are solely focusing on breath work. It's really powerful. Did you have another point, Caroline?
Yeah, so whilst I think there's validity and really usefulness in essentially over breathing, speeding the breath up, doing powerful things, breath is amazing at being a down regulator for the body. So it's the most powerful down regulator that we can use when we're stressed, when we're anxious. I know my experience of like anxiety or stress is I will stop breathing and I'll hold my breath. And I think I probably first noticed it in yoga because obviously you're a little bit more aware of your breath then. But recognizing actually that then the breath is the doorway for you to start to soothe the body, come back down out of that high stress. And it can be a way of completing that stress cycle. It can be a way of signaling to your body that now you're in a safe place. That means you can release that emotion, release that stress, and start to move into more a relaxed, safe state. So yeah, I'd say the slow, long exhale is such an amazing tool to use in your life.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll follow on from that because those of you that don't know me, I focus on stress and anxiety and teaching people how to deal better with stress and anxiety. And absolutely, I came to that through healing my own stress and anxiety and learning tools. And because I recovered and found a way out from my own suffering, I was really led to train as a yoga teacher like Caroline, but also as a practitioner to be able to support more of you. And I know that the breath work that came to me through yoga was just incredible. And so, yes, I think there's a couple of things that I'd share with you, Caroline, that I think if we consider the breath, it goes hand in hand with the importance of exercise and movement, but also that our breath can be accessed as a way to find and gain relaxation. Yeah, so I think they were my points too. And also for me, the breath the breath has been my experience to find meditation. It's the breath work and focusing on the breath, which is actually how meditation is taught, is to focus on your breath. So yeah, it's just an incredible part of our humanness that we just take day by day.
Yes. And I'd because obviously I teach and coach fitness as well as yoga, and I just wanted to bring in this idea that we think we're breathing well and we have a good quality of breath, and actually I think sometimes even when we're exercising we can not have as powerful or useful breath as we might like. And specifically, I want to say something about how quite often you'll hear personal trainers, fitness instructors, yoga teachers talk about bracing the core. And that is obviously a useful cue in terms of safety, if you're lifting and things like that. But it does have an impact on breath. And I think it's really important to be aware of this. So as you brace the core, then your breath starts to become more up into the chest, and it's called paradoxical breathing. So as you inhale, your chest expands rather than your belly. And it's not an issue in itself, as in this is not something that's wrong that needs to be fixed, because obviously a core can help us, an activated core helps us lift and exercise safely. But if it actually is solidifying a pattern that's already there, and you're actually bringing paradoxical breathing into your everyday life. So rather than using your belly, when you breathe in, your belly should move out, and when you breathe out, your belly should move in. If your exercise is kind of accentuating that chest breathing and freezing the core, freezing therefore the movement of the diaphragm, I think it's really helpful to keep those cues in perspective, to know that yes, an engaged core is a really useful thing, but actually, how is it serving your breath as well? And can you be aware of maybe how that cue is translating into your everyday life? Is your breath different when you're not exercising compared to how you are?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a really useful point. Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to add? Those of you on the live, I'm going to take us through just a couple of breathing exercises to share with you so you can take a couple of tools away from today's focus of breath. Is there anything else, Caroline, you wanted to add before we continue into the practical tools?
I'd just add, I'd love people to be curious about their breath. And if you've never experimented with it before, if you've never even noticed it before, take a deep breath now. That's what I'd love for you to do. Whether at your home, whether you're watching this on social media, whether you're watching it on YouTube, take a deep breath now and be curious and see what differences that might make.
Yeah, great. And for any of you that are curious in the subject we've opened, feel free to be in contact with Caroline or I. I work with online sessions and I work very focused in shaking patterns, which, as we've just talked about, our breathing pattern is part of a way of being that we create. And Caroline focuses more with yoga and coaching. So yeah, do reach out to either of us. I think both of us are, well, I can speak for myself. I'm currently running free taster online sessions. So yeah, if you want to come and try a taster session with me, just drop me a message.
Yes, come and move and breathe. Come and move and breathe with us.
So we're going to find a little bit of movement with our breath. We're going to start, you just need yourself and a little bit of space. And we're going to start at the top of your mat, bringing your feet about hip distance. Soften the knees slightly and close into the eyes. And I'd like you just to start to transition the weight a little bit forwards. Feel the toes catch you. And then back into the heels. And forwards. And back. And forwards. And back. And then find some stillness, finding the balance between all four corners of the feet. With your eyes closed, take a long breath in through the nose. As you exhale, soft sigh out of the mouth. 2 more, breathe in. And out. And in. And out. And then blinking eyes open. We're going to start linking our movement with our breath. So as you breathe in now, sweep the arms up towards the sky. As you breathe out, bend your knees into a squat as you swing your arms down, double pulse and inhale back up. Exhale, swings down, breathe in and up. And let's link this with our breath. Find your pace, your movement. So yours might be slower or faster than mine. Keep that movement going. And take 3 more. Next time you rise up through to stand, as you exhale, draw your hands back through to heart center. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, soften the knees and fold it forwards. As you inhale, halfway lift, drawing your hands onto your shins or your thighs, pressing the spine long, rolling the shoulders onto the back body. And your exhale softens your knees, fold it down. Inhaling, roll up all the way through to standing with your head and your hands hanging heavy. Exhaling, drawing the shoulders down the spine. So we're going to repeat that, one move, one breath. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhaling, fold forwards. Inhaling to a half lift. And exhaling, fold. Inhaling, roll up through to stand, stacking vertebra on top of vertebra. And exhaling, shoulders roll down. And again, inhale, arms to the sky. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up through to stand. Exhaling, shoulders sink. Inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhale, knees soften and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, rise through to stand. Exhale, shoulders roll back. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll through to stand. Exhale, shoulders sink. One more time. Inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise through to stand. And exhale, shoulders sink. This time as you breathe in, the hips sink to a chair pose Utkatasana as the arms come overhead. And keep the weight through the heels, the lower belly lifted. And take a little gaze down so that you can see your big toes. With shoulders soft, let this pose be about your breath. With your gaze forwards, soft and steady, can you slow your breath? Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Even though there's physical effort here, being aware, using your breath. Our breath signaling to our body that we are strong and stable. Take 3 more slow breaths. And one more breath in. And now as you exhale, fold. Soften the knees, hips high. And with feet hip distance, now catch hold of opposite elbows, ragdoll. And maybe you take a sway from side to side. Maybe you find stillness. Take a long breath in through the nose. And an exhale out of the mouth. And then from here, we're going to move through to a seat. So maybe crossing one leg over the other, lowering the hips down, or if that doesn't work for you, just moving through to a seat in whichever way does. And drawing your legs out in front of you with the toes to the sky. We're going to begin with the knees bent and take the arms underneath the legs, catching hold of opposite elbows. Create chest to thigh contact. If you have some space in your hamstrings, you might now start to inch the heels away. But if you lose chest to thigh contact, then just move back off. If you get to the point where your arms are on the floor, then you can thread them out, send them to the feet. And take a breath in here. And as you exhale, fold. Exploring now a different purpose with the breath. Before, as we moved, it was about linking the movement and breath, being in the moment. And as we breathe here, it's about our inner world, drawing all your attention inwards. Again, using that breath to show our bodies that we are stable, and we are safe. Long and deep. And finding 3 more breaths here. And as you next inhale, start to ease your way up. Let your head come up last. Blink open the eyes and coming back. I hope you've enjoyed moving and breathing with me today. It has been a pleasure to practice with you. Thank you.
I'm going to do it with you now. If you can sit, it's probably the best. So take a chair and join me for a couple of exercises I'm going to show you. So the first one we will do together is, let's do breathing with sounds actually, because breathing with sounds really helps open the chest, the diaphragm and the belly area. So I know I'm a bit hidden behind the comments, but you don't really need to see me, you just need to hear my instructions. So let's start with the sound of, I'm going to show you the first one. We're going to focus on the diaphragm and the sound is going to be shh. So if I come closer to the camera, shh. It's a bit like you want to try and push the air out. You're making a shh square with your lips. Yeah. And you can close your eyes so you have your attention with your breath and you take a breath in and begin and then just continue a monotonous sound. So you keep going. When you get to the end of the exhale, when all the air is empty, take another breath in. And take 3 more of this sound. Excellent. And then the next sound we're going to take is for the area of your chest and the breath into the chest. And I'm going to take you onto the next one. So take a breath in. Excellent. 3 more. Excellent. And the next one to complete the breathing with sounds. So if you're just joining, we're focusing on breath today in the Spirit Strength series. So we're going to take a sound that helps, I'd say it kind of works as a silence, as a creating silence. So I'll continue with the third sound. Continue. Two more. Last one. Excellent. And you can just take a moment to sit with your eyes closed, pay attention to how you feel. Notice the effects of a few minutes breathing that we've done, a few minutes breath work that we've done. And one thing that's really important to add is that if you've got tools, as I do, practice them. They're tools for a reason, not accessories to carry around like a handbag. Yeah, tools are to be used. And sometimes it's that developing a discipline, and I know that. So if any of you need support in strengthening your discipline muscle and your will and generally becoming more disciplined in life, reach out to me, drop me a message. If you want to work with me, feel free. My discipline is very strong, and I gained discipline from practicing a lot of sports growing up. Martial arts, I was in the county middle distance running club. So sport is brilliant for kids as well to develop our discipline. And we need discipline, because I can say it's not always what I want to do every day, sit down and do my meditation, or sit down and do my training, my toolkit of breath work and concentration exercises and relaxation exercises, all the tools that I've got that I teach my clients. But I use them because I know that prevention is key. So because I implement constant, consistent, short exercises throughout my week in terms of supporting my mental health and my well-being, I most of the time do not end up with stress and anxiety like I used to have, or other issues that I used to have, because I practice, which keeps a consistent movement and wellness of my body and my mind. And that's what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to drip feed, to consistently practice short exercises. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half of yoga on a mat. The key for me has been consistency and short, regular practice. So that's what I recommend to you. So we've just done the breathing with sounds. I just mentioned that this whole training with Caroline, she's just dropped, she just popped off the feed while I take over with the breath work. It will appear on the Spirit Strength series. Hey guys watching, the Spirit Strength series, which is premiered every Sunday on YouTube. Now let me teach you a breathing exercise, if you don't know it, that's a really great one to calm your nervous system. So again, I suggest take a seat, and let me just stand to show you actually, because I'm a bit hidden in the feed. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your dominant hand, that's my right hand, you're going to cover over your right nostril with your thumb. You can place the first two fingers like so, what is called the Ashna Chakra. You can just think of it as it's like the point of consciousness, but even if it feels a bit strange, just think about balancing your two fingers there. You don't need to have a meaning behind it. And then you're going to use your ring finger to cover off the left nostril, okay? So that's your hand position, I'm going to talk you through. So start by covering off your right nostril. You're going to inhale through the left, and let's do the count of 8, 6 and 8. So you're breathing in for 8. Close both nostrils. And exhale through the right. Okay, I'm going to count you, so keep going. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils. And exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Hold both nostrils. And exhale through the right. Continue. If the length of the breath feels too much, close both nostrils down. Just shorten it. And exhale through your left. Let's do one more. So exhale through the left, empty, empty, empty. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils. And finally exhale out through your right side. Excellent. And then sit for a moment and regulate the breath. Breathe normally, regularly. Keep your eyes closed, and if you followed me in this training, whether you're watching on the YouTube video or you're here on Instagram Live, and you followed the training with me, you've participated, just notice how you feel. Notice the effects of taking 5-10 minutes out of your day to breathe, to train the breath. Okay, so, hey guys, so we did breathing with sounds, and I've just shown you the alternate nose breathing. So if you didn't know them and you practice with me, use the tools in your week when you need them. If you feel you're getting a little bit uptight or you feel tired even, I would encourage you to introduce some kind of breath work, and breathing and moving is another way of implementing breath and benefiting from breathing in a varied way, as we talked about.